A very good evening and welcome to the Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our News1st studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mutanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
National Audit Service in crisis. Where is the National Audit Bill? 14% tax imposed on investment earnings of the Employees Provident Fund. BASL to file legal action against Deputy Minister Ranjan Brahma on charges of contempt of court. Overcrowding in urban prisons, a serious cause for concern.
Is in detail. President Council UL De Silva, the president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, says that legal action will be filed against Deputy Minister Ranjan Brahma next week for contempt of court. De Silva said the decision was made at the monthly general meeting of the BASL.
When
the matter was brought up at the monthly general meeting, the immediate response was that legal action should be taken against him since it was a serious attack on the rule of law. It was said that the law must be enforced against him without any leniency whatsoever. I noted at this point that since I had already made a statement granting a certain period of time, action would be filed as soon as the deadline passes. The statement he made, claiming that a majority in the legal profession are corrupt, warrants zero leniency. Having considered all of the information on this matter, we have decided that legal action will be filed in the coming week.
As a result of the failure to adopt the National Audit Bill, the National Audit Office and the National Audit Service are yet to become operational. The National Audit Service Association says that the continued delay in passing this very important legislation is preventing the Auditor General from fulfilling his duties and responsibilities.
Although there is an audit commission, it has become an office where people are paid to do nothing because of the individuals who are blocking the passage of the audit bill. State funds are being fruitlessly wasted on the audit commission. This is not the fault of the officials. The audit commission will be empowered only when the audit bill is adopted and the National Audit Service is established.
A draft of the National Audit Bill was presented to the Cabinet of Ministers on the 20th of April 2015, where it was granted approval. This approval conferred the responsibility of introducing the bill as an ordinary bill in Parliament and gazetting the bill on the Secretary to the Prime Minister. More than a year later, on the 26th of April 2016, a Cabinet subcommittee chaired by Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugama was appointed to further study the draft of the National Audit Bill. On the 9th of August this year, the most recent draft of the National Audit Bill, containing a total of 23 amendments, was presented to the Cabinet of Ministers and was certified as being in line with the Constitution on the same date by the Attorney General. However, once again, on the 15th of this month, another Cabinet subcommittee chaired by Minister Amunugama was appointed to further study the bill. Why is the National Audit Bill, a key pledge in the 100 days program of the Good Governance government, being delayed continuously?
I think we can call this the bill that has been subject to the highest number of amendments in history. It has been amended 23 times. Given the funds that have to be spent each time this is amended by the legal draftsman and the Attorney General as an association, what this portrays to us is that the public representatives in office are not interested in safeguarding public assets and resources.
රටේ දේපොළ මහජනතාවගේ සම්පත් ආරක්ෂා කරන්න උවමනාවක් නැතිකම කියලා තමයි අපේ සංගමයක් වශයෙන් විශ්වාස කරන්නේ.
As per the timeline outlined by the government, the National Audit Bill was to be tabled in Parliament on the 19th of February 2015 and adopted on the 19th of March the same year. 2.5 years later, why has the government failed to fulfill this promise?
While the Audit Commission has been appointed, this government is yet to enact the Audit Bill which enables this commission to operate. In a few days, the Audit Commission will be subject to the compulsory audit and it will be revealed that money has been spent on nothing at all. While the Commission has been established under the 19th Amendment, by preventing the adoption of the Audit Bill, by continuing to delay it, this government is showing that it has become a regime which supports fraud, corruption, money laundering and waste. There are several amendments to be made. This is not a delay. We are preparing to present a proper bill. We introduced a bill previously and it was alleged that it was not prepared correctly. Now when we are trying to put forward a proper bill, they are saying that we are delaying it. No matter how we do it, there are allegations. This government is not walking the talk. There was much trumpeting over the National Audit Bill, but 2.5 years later, they are not introducing the bill because their thievery will be caught. They are not strengthening the Auditor General's department because their thievery will be caught. The Good Governance government has a responsibility to table and adopt the audit bill. Then we can find out whenever there is wrongdoing by anyone. This government came forward saying they would speak out against theft, fraud and corruption in the country. The first blow they dealt was to the central bank. The EPF was next. They started by cleaning out the central bank. A new audit bill was introduced to put a stop to this. The new audit bill is now lost with Ranil. The Auditor General has recommended amendments to be made, and there is a major discourse on fraud and corruption. Instead of strengthening the audit process in the country, this government is shutting down offices which caught the thieves.
Who is afraid of the audit bill? For shame.
Various views were expressed on the political arena today as well about the removal of Vijayadasa Rajapaksa as Minister of Justice and Buddha Sasana.
Vijayadasa Rajapaksa is someone who served in the Rajapaksa government as a minister for a few months and left. Even then he took measures to represent the correct side. How many months did Namal Rajapaksa remain in prison? For how long was Basil Rajapaksa in prison? He has not come to help us. So far he has done what is right.
It
is not just Vijayadasa Rajapaksa but anyone who has the membership of the United National Party should abide by the rules and regulations of the party and its constitution. He is bound by the constitution, so he will have no problem. This economy is clouded by the war victory and is one that has been made for the benefit of one family and enough for the survival of another 100 generations. You know this better than I do, that this government has no concern for the general public. The budget gave concessions to no one but Casino King James Packer and the luxury dogs in the country. Mahinda Rajapaksa's heart only melts when the dogs of the country have no food and when James Packer loses business. The proud father. Do not forget that it is this current leader who is disregarding the requests of the chief prelates of all three sects. That is the truth. The political culture that you have created is such that one word against the government would result in being abducted by a white van and disappearing. So today, in fear of that, those who served as government ministers and MPs at the time are saying to rectify it if I was wrong. So today, in fear of that, those who served as government ministers and MPs at the time are saying to rectify it if it was wrong. We as a government know how to rectify the wrongs. Did the GMOA even open their mouth? They were afraid of the white vans. Such was the state in the country. Now that the rule of law has been re-established in the country, everyone has come forward to show off their colours.
I remember
the COPE reports which I presented in Parliament in 2005 and 2007. It had details of fraud and corruption amounting to 300 billion. All 225 members of Parliament approved it. Honourable Chairman, to see how big this 300 billion is as an amount compared to our national income. That year the country's national income was 700 billion, of which 300 billion was stolen. So in the name of humanity, are we not responsible for the people of this country?
The Intercompany Employees Union says a withholding tax of 14% will be imposed on the annual investment earnings of the Employees' Provident Fund as a result of the proposals in the new Inland Revenue Bill.
This is the Inland Revenue Bill. It imposes a 14% tax on the annual investment earnings of the EPF. Then there is the withholding tax, which is another 14%. It is unfair and unjust to impose a 14% tax on the annual investment earnings and a further 14% withholding tax on those earnings. It is in violation of taxation laws. It is inhuman. This proposal must be withdrawn immediately. There are tax rogues in this country. These rogues do not pay their proper taxes. There are 23 steel industrialists in the country. They have not made a decision on how much they should be taxed, including those who reheat scrap iron. So 20 billion rupees in taxes are not being imposed. There are politicians who are with these scrap metal industrialists. These metal industrialists purchase vehicles and homes for politicians and they evade taxes.
A school student and another youth were injured after being attacked with a sharp weapon in Grand Pass, Colombo. The school student who was attacked is a candidate of this year's GCE Advanced Level examinations.
Police say the incident took place at around 8:30 last night. 3 youths, including the school student, were at a restaurant in Grand Pass area where 3 other youths had arrived and escorted the school student out of the restaurant where a heated argument had ensued. Police say that the elder brother of the school student had arrived at the location. Thereafter, the suspects had attacked both the brothers with a sharp weapon before fleeing the scene. The injured are currently receiving treatment at the ICU of the National Hospital.
I was asked to come out and talk. They asked me why I broke his brother's chain. I told him that it was a small incident which happened 6 months ago and agreed to ask for forgiveness. Then one of his friends pointed a knife at me and threatened to kill me. Since I was beaten up at the parking lot, my brother and my brother-in-law who saw this came to my rescue. I suffered 2 cut wounds in the neck and 1 on the back, while my brother sustained lacerations on his stomach and hand.
Those who did this should be punished. My child had to do his last exam. Please do something about this. Though the 3 youth who were involved in the attack have been identified, their permanent residencies are yet to be revealed. The 3-wheeler in which the 3 youths travelled in has been seized by the police.
A ceremony was held in Badula today in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Sri Lanka Police under the auspices of IGP Pujita Sundara.
The ceremony featured a colourful parade.
හොඳම පොලිස් පරීක්ෂකවරයා මොනවාගල කොටාසේ අපරාධ වැළැක්වීම සහ විසඳීම පොලිස් නිලධාරීන්ගේ තවත් මුඛ්‍ය කාර්යභාරයක් මේ අවුරුද්දේ.
The primary commitment of the IGP is towards the prevention of crimes and the conducting of inquiries. I had set a goal to fulfill on the 1st of January that all crimes should be resolved completely. We are hoping to give some solace through the legal process. We are hoping to move forward through close relations. We are hoping to uphold the peace regardless of divisions and considering the people's mandate.
කිසිම ભેදයකින් තොරව නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමක් සහ සාමය සුරැකීමක් අපෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
An accommodation crisis at several prisons in the country. Details of this story and much more coming up on the other side of this short commercial break. Stay with News First. Welcome back to the news. An accommodation crisis at several prisons in the country has created a concern among its inmates. The Prisons Department says the crisis has worsened at urban prisons. There are 30 prisons and remand prisons established in the country with close to 18,500 suspects and criminals imprisoned. While the Veligada prison in Colombo has a capacity of accommodating 3,500 inmates, it currently houses just 1,174 prisoners. The new magazine prison in Boralla, which has the facilities to house 680 inmates, currently has a surplus of 1,200 inmates. The Colombo remand prison, which currently houses close to 1,000 inmates, has a capacity of housing just 380 prisoners. While the Negombo remand prison can house 680 inmates, the prison is overcrowded with over 1,100 inmates.
Prisons in Colombo and other urban areas taking close to 200 to 300% of inmates. These prisons were built during the British rule, so the capacity to hold a large number of inmates is quite limited. This causes certain obstructions for inmates in their day-to-day lives. It also creates health concerns, which is why the government has taken a decision to relocate certain prisons. The Bogambara and Jaffna prisons have already been relocated. It has also been proposed to relocate the Tangol prison. Moreover, the Gaul, Mathura, Trincomalee, Batiklo and Valikara prisons have been identified as prisons which could be relocated from the urban areas and to build them with a proper rehabilitative environment.
A prison guard has died following an accident in Kudaoya, Dehattakandya. The police say that the bus had toppled after veering off the road. The incident occurred this evening. The 34-year-old prison guard was attached to the Badulla prison. The driver of the bus, who sustained injuries, has been admitted to the Dehattakandya hospital. Newsfirst island-wide anti-corruption campaign continued in several parts of the country today as well.
Even if they build a road, it is of low quality. This must be corrected from the top down.
Even though the government has changed, the corrupt are continuing with their activities. They are able to do this because the citizens are not standing against them.
The National Anti-Corruption Campaign got underway in the Negombo area and in the Nureli district today. Our team in the Nureli district commenced the day today with an awareness campaign in the Kandapula town. The team also visited the rural villages of Patungama, Kotambai, Dambagolla and Nildanda Hinna.
Kandapula used to be a wealthy town. Now we are all beggars. I think this lot have been unable to balance the economy.
The poor cannot purchase fertilizer to cultivate. This is unfair and the rulers should know to address this. Another team in the Negombo area commenced their work today following religious observances.
The officials responsible are hiding and rescuing the thieves. They look for the thieves while holding torches in front of them. No wonder the thieves who are hiding behind them can't be seen. They have withdrawn all the cases that have been filed. If the thieves aren't being arrested, there is definitely a deal. The youth should be elected to parliament, not the sons and the daughters of the politicians.
The foundation stone was laid today for the 446th model village to be constructed under the Samata 7 Yani Pibdena Udagammana project. The event was held under the auspices of Housing and Construction Minister Sachit Premadasa.
The village, which is being built in the Tissapur area in Tissamaharama Hambantota, has been named Setkirulagama Grama Shakti village. The village will comprise of 40 homes. Under a program to eradicate poverty, we are building Udagammana villages across the country. We came into power pledging to eradicate poverty from our country. Today we are fulfilling these promises pragmatically. Under the Grama Shakti program of His Excellency the President, you are being given an opportunity to rise. In the past, could the ordinary man rise to great heights? They became kings on the backs of the ordinary people and then they gave nothing back to them.
At a media briefing held today, Asela Sampath, the president of the All Island Canteen Owners Association, had this to say on Health Minister Rajitha Senaratne.
Since 1947, this is the first health minister that introduced a program to clean up canteens and improve quality and hygiene. The current health minister made direct decisions. Multinational corporations have now got a hold of groups in the opposition against the health minister and are attempting to destroy everything. They are trying to repeat what happened to Seneka Bibile. We are opposed to this. We are not going marketing for the minister. We are doing this with good motives. We need such a minister to have a straight back and take these decisions.
Minister Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca and State Minister Ruwan Wichewardena were seen enjoying a friendly game of cricket last night.
The friendly encounter between the Western Provincial Councillors team and the Western Province Parliamentarians team was held at the Basilica grounds in Ragama last evening. The Provincial Councillors elected to bat first after winning the toss. The councillors scored a total of 56 runs in their allotted 8 overs. The parliamentarians' team featured Minister Field Marshal Sarth Fonseca and State Minister Ruan Vijayawardena. Vijayawardena was dismissed for a duck, while Fonseca was dismissed for 3 runs. The MP's team was restricted to 39 runs, handing a relatively comfortable victory for the provincial councillors.
අපවාර්තාකරු පැවසුවේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුක
Acting U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs and Acting Special Representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan, Alice Wells, will arrive in Sri Lanka next week.
US President Donald Trump's official will travel to Dhaka, Islamabad and Colombo from the 28th of August to the 2nd of September. She will meet with government officials, business leaders and civil society representatives to discuss US cooperation in the region. Wells is scheduled to speak at the Indian Ocean Conference in Colombo on the 1st of September, which will bring together high-level officials from around the world to discuss peace, progress and prosperity in the Indian Ocean region. Wells, a career Foreign Service officer, assumed duties as Acting Assistant Secretary for South and Central Asia and Acting Special Representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan on the 26th of June 2017.
A fire gutted a house in Thanamanwila, Agunukala Palace last afternoon.
Though Maheshi Lakmali's parents had wanted to build their own house for many years, they were unable to realize this dream. The parents who work as labourers put together this rudimentary house with coconut palm fronds and roofing sheets with the help of their relatives. Tragedy struck yesterday when a neighbour set fire to his chena. The blaze spread quickly and reduced the small house to ashes within minutes. Maheshi, who will be sitting for the Grade 5 scholarship examination next year, has lost all her school books and equipment.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudan Nayaka. Have a great week ahead of you. Good night.